So now we're going to talk about the next play-in game that happened that same day between the Warriors and the Sacramento Kings. Is it the end of the dynasty for the Golden State Warriors? Has the dynasty came to an end? The Sacramento Kings smack the Golden State Warriors 118-94 to play the Pelicans to see who clinches the 8th seed in the West. Keegan Murray and Keon Ellis were the difference makers in the game, whether it was from Keegan Murray's three-pointers that he was hitting. He hit 3 straight threes, going up 9-0 early to the Warriors, and he did not let off the gas the whole entire game. Or if it was with Keon Ellis and his amazing defense against Steph Curry, getting steals, and amazing defense against Klay Thompson. Those two guys were the difference maker for the Sacramento Kings, and it was just too much for him. Klay Thompson finished with 0 points on 0 of 10 shooting. Steph Curry finished with 22 points, 2 assists, 4 rebounds. Like I said, Klay Thompson had 0 points. Wiggins had 12 points, but Wiggins did not show up this whole entire game. Trace Jackson-Davis, they took him out early because he was not a good matchup for Sabonis. It was not looking good. Draymond Green had 12.6 assists. He played all right. Kuminga had 16 off the bench. He played fine. But overall, Klay Thompson is washed, and we will be talking about that. For the Sacramento Kings, Keegan Murray had a game-high 32 points on 10 of 20 shooting, 8 of 13 from the three-point line. It felt as though Keegan Murray was not missing. Keegan Murray was cooking with hot grease, cooking on all cylinders. I knew when he hit those 3 threes at the beginning of the game, they went up 9-0. I was like, oh yeah, Keegan Murray was going to have a good game. And mind you, they did this without Malik Monk, the 6th man, and they did it without Kevin Huerter. So he had to step up, and sure enough, he did step up. Harrison Barnes had a good game. Sabonis, 16 and 12, had a good game. Keon Ellis had 15 along with a couple of steals and played phenomenal defense. And De'Aaron Fox is obviously going to do his thing. He had 24 points, 6 assists, 4 rebounds. But the difference maker, obviously, Keegan Murray, Keon Ellis. Without Keon Ellis, who knows? Steph Curry's 22 points would have went up to 30. Because Steph had 22, but he was relatively quiet. And he was the only one that was really doing something, but he wasn't doing Steph Curry things that we know like he did in Game 7 of the playoffs last year against the Kings, where I think he dropped 50 points, if I'm not mistaken. Thompson, 0 of 10. Klay Thompson is washed. And one thing I will say, this dynasty is over. This dynasty's been over. I personally believe the dynasty was over, even though the Warriors won that championship in 2022. You got to think, Steph Curry was really carrying that team. So I first feel as though the dynasty was over when they lost that series to the Raptors. When they lost that series to the Raptors, everything just went downhill. When Klay Thompson got hurt, everything went downhill. It wasn't when KD left or none of that. I personally believe when they lost that series to the Raptors, when Klay Thompson got hurt, that was the end of it. And yes, they won that championship after. But was it really that same level of dominance of Steph Curry and Klay Thompson? It was the same with Steph Curry, but not with Klay Thompson. You could clearly see a difference with Klay Thompson. They didn't have no bench. They didn't have no guys, really. And you see it now. They have but just a bunch of young guys. Kuminga, who's good. Moses Moody, who's good, but they don't really give him that many minutes. Pajinski, he's good, but it ain't the same at all. This isn't the same dominant force of Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, and they're getting old. Steph Curry is the only one that is still up there. You cannot deny that. But Klay Thompson, ever since his injury, he has just been inconsistent. This whole season was inconsistent. And remember, he had a whole shooting slump towards the middle of the season. He picked it up a little bit, but then when it comes down to this play-in game, you shoot 0 for 10. That's not going to win you basketball games. So the Golden State Warriors, it's the end. The window is closing, especially with how these teams are playing in the West with the OKC Thunder being a young team, and they're looking great. The Nuggets, the Timberwolves, all of these teams, they're better than the Warriors. You got to remember, 5, 6, 7 years from now, the Warriors were ahead of the curve. When they had Steph Curry, Thompson, Green, and KD, they were way ahead of the curve. But now KD is gone. Now these guys are getting older. Now you see these young guys really stepping up and playing their butts off. Now these teams that were bad and the Warriors were smacking them 5, 6, 7 years ago, now they're coming back. They're coming up. And now they're the team that is beating the Golden State Warriors. You got to think, 5, 6, 7 years ago, the Kings wasn't beating the Warriors like this. They weren't smacking them. They wasn't, having a better record than the Warriors, and the Warriors got to go on the road and play them 4 out of the 7 games. It was never like that. Warriors was always smacking the Kings. Remember, the Kings used to suck. But now they got a team now. Now they got Fox. Now they got Sabonis. Now they got Malik Monk. Now they got Harrison Barnes and Keegan Murray, who just came. Now they got these guys. Keon Ellis, who's a two-way player. Now they got these guys, and now they can compete with any team in the West. Now you see the Suns. Remember, the Suns used to suck. It used to just be Devin Booker, and the Warriors used to smack them. Now they got Devin Booker. They had CP3. Remember that. They have Bradley Beal, and they have Kevin Durant. Now, even though they haven't really played together like that, their team overall is better than what it was 5, 6, 7 years ago when the Warriors were just dominating the whole league. Same with the Thunder. Same with the Lakers. Same with the Timberwolves. So all of these teams, now that you see the Golden State Warriors play, it's tough for them to win. Versus back then, since they were so ahead of the curve and they were so dominant with all of these guys, and Klay Thompson was in his prime, Draymond prime, Steph Curry way, way in his prime, KD prime. They were blitzing everybody, and it wasn't even close. But now since these teams have caught up, I think it's over with for the Golden State Warriors. It's over with. I don't see them winning. Personally, I think Klay Thompson is going to be there next year if he takes a pay cut, which I think he is going to take a pay cut. I wouldn't be surprised if he takes a pay cut. I feel like that is the smart decision for him to do. But if he doesn't take the pay cut, he's not going to be there. I personally feel as though they got to get rid of somebody, as hard as that is. They either got to get rid of Steph, which I know they're not going to get rid of. They got to get rid of Draymond Green. They got to get rid of Klay Thompson. They got to get under that luxury tax if you want to have a chance of winning. Try and get some role players or some guys on your team. But if they can't do that, then the Warriors are screwed. The Warriors are going to be screwed for a long time coming because these teams are only going to get better. So, good win for the Sacramento Kings. For the Sacramento Kings, what I will say is, you're going to beat the Pelicans. You're going to be that 8th seed. And I personally feel as though the Kings versus the Thunder, that's a good matchup for them. Sabonis can cook. Sabonis can cook against the OKC Thunder. Same with De'Aaron Fox. Now, do I feel as though they're going to beat the Thunder? I don't think they're going to beat the Thunder. I think it will go 6 games, though. But I feel as though the Sacramento Kings, with the team that they got, if they have Malik Monk for this first round, which they're probably not going to have, I may say different because he could come on that bench and then just light up, be a spark plug for the Sacramento Kings. But if he's not going to be back, it's going to be hard for them to win because they do need some people on that bench. And they don't have it right now. But Malik Monk, that 6-man, he was going to be that spark plug for the Sacramento Kings. So without him, it's going to be hard. But I feel as though they pretty much secured them a playoff spot, especially since Zion Williamson isn't going to be playing for the Pelicans on Friday. So I think the Kings are going to go ahead and lock up that 8th seed in the West and play the OKC Thunder. But everybody on this team, they played good against the Warriors. And it had got close a little bit, but really, to be honest with you, this whole game, it was really all Kings. The Warriors didn't have it. The Warriors ain't have it from start to finish. It was all Kings. They made it close a little bit, but the Kings just blew it away. And if Keegan Murray can have him a same game that he did against the Warriors, against the Pelicans, or even in the first round, maybe that could change things. But personally, I don't think they're going to beat the Thunder. But they will beat the Pelicans, though, most definitely. So, good win for the Sacramento Kings, finishing 46-36 as of right now, and they will be winning more games. But isn't it kind of crazy that the difference between the Lakers and the Warriors and Kings is only one game? The difference between the Pelicans and the Warriors and Kings is only 3 games. Like, the West is stacked. And these are the teams in the play-in, so that shows a lot. These teams are over 10 games, over 500. And it's crazy. And these are the play-in teams. So, like I said, the West is tough, but good win for the Sacramento Kings. They will be playing the New Orleans Pelicans to see who clinches that 8th spot.